Welcome to Diary of a Dreamer, where resilience unlocks your potential. I'm Tasha Eisinger, and each week I'll bring you powerful stories and practical insights from my own experiences and inspiring guests. Whether you're facing challenges or chasing dreams, this podcast is your go-to for motivation, building confidence, and practical tips for transforming obstacles into opportunities. Be sure to check out my website, tashaeisinger.com. Let's dive into today's episode and start turning your dreams into reality. Today we are with the mindset nurse, Regina Sloan. We met a couple years ago. I'm so excited to have you here, Regina. We always have great conversations, but today we're going to dive in about the coaching work she does to help women who are stuck, overwhelmed, people-pleasing, procrastinating, all the things that we know we do and we logically know not to do, but don't know how to not do it. That's what Regina is for. So thanks for being here, Regina.
Thank you. Best intro ever. I love that. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to talk first of all, I love nurses. So tell everybody, what kind of nurse are you in day-to-day life, right?
So I've been a lot of different versions. I've been a nurse for 13 years. I first started off in general med surg, where just catch all the things. And then I spent a big portion, I think it's 8 or 9 years in palliative care, comfort, helping people die comfortably, taking care of their families, just some really deep work. And then the second portion of that, and where I still currently work, is critical care. And since 22, I've been kind of contracting with different hospitals. It's interesting that it's now my side gig. I don't really work as much as a nurse, but when I do, I'm at someone's critical care unit.
So I have a very special place in my heart for nurses. I had already told you this before, but truly, I think nurses are some of the most important people in any medical facility. They are fierce advocates. They are intelligent. They are skilled. They have strong intuition, and different health issues I've had, or even when my little one was in the PICU, it was the nurses who just kept us going in so many ways. So I'm glad that you're still doing that work, because it's critical that we have great quality nurses.
Yeah, I would agree. Thank you. I would agree. I actually, as you were talking, when you're doing work, it's great, it's valuable, people tell you, but then when you're on the other side as a patient, and I'm pretty healthy, thankfully, but my last kid was when I had my last daughter. It was really, really bad. And I'm here because of a great nurse. I'm still here. And I'm until you got to see on the other side as a patient, how important it is to have great nurses. So I agree.
I have goosebumps just thinking about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really is. And honestly, especially with the PICU, there's certain faces that I will never forget. I will carry them to my last breath. Even the respiratory therapist. I mean, I knew, I was if my baby's going to make it, it's because of that woman right there. She knows her stuff. And so, yes.
I feel that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love.
Thank
nurses.
you.
So,
we love you.
I'm fangirling.
Nothing wrong with that. I do it all the time.
Oh my. So, all right. How did you go from nursing to the mindset nurse? I can see where there's crossover because I've interacted with so many incredible nurses, but how was that transition for you?
Yeah. So interesting enough, first of all, the my Instagram name is Your Mindset Nurse. And so that's where it kind of coined. However, when I created my Instagram and I created that name, I didn't even know what coaching was. So it was very interesting. I just thought it was a catchy name. I've always been into personal development, always, even through nursing school and all the things. Just never thought that this is the kind of work I would be doing. So the name really had nothing to do with my career at first. It just kind of now makes sense. But honestly, I found coaching through being a client myself. I was struggling. I had been going to therapy for quite a while, and it was helpful until it wasn't. And I just kind of felt like I was kind of spinning my wheels and talking about the same things, but still not getting where I wanted to go, and also not knowing what I needed. And so I found a podcast that was recommended called The Life Coach School, which is still active. And it's like over 500 of the best episodes ever. So if anyone is like, I need help, I want to know what this is about, the Life Coach School podcast is amazing. And that's what introduced me to what coaching was. And I'm like, oh, this might be what I need. And so I hired my own coach, really transformed my entire life from parenting to how I saw the world, and really at the heart of it all, just learned like, oh, I actually have the power to feel better if I want to do the things I want to do. And everything just spin from there. Once you just change your mind about things, then you start um, kind of, I don't know how to best explain it. It's kind of like your world opens up to what's possible, which you weren't able to see before. And so I still didn't think I would be a coach. That didn't happen until basically 2023. But I spent all of that time, I guess 19 to 2022, really preparing for what was coming, and I didn't know. So I've loved personal development. They both go hand in hand, doing a lot of learning. And then I began wanting to share my story and wanting to talk to people, and people would reach out to me. And I decided like, okay, I'm going to get out of my own way and stop being scared and just jump into this thing that I'm spending my time doing anyway. So that's how it happened. And I'll say, with the nursing piece, what I didn't know that I know now, I thought they were two different careers, and most
They're
people
not.
did.
They're not
Yeah,
at all.
like how do you go from nursing to a coach? But literally, I think my lived personal experience that I've worked through
Mhm.
has helped me. But my skills that I learned as a nurse to be able to have difficult conversations, to hold deep space for someone, to listen actively, to say the hard thing and think fast and really take a situation and break it apart in the way that you need to be able to do to be a successful nurse. Those are the most perfect skills that help me in my coaching. So they really transfer quite well.
Well, and also in nursing and in coaching, a big part of it is being present in the moment.
Yes,
If it's too
big part.
formulaic, it's not going to work, right? It
Yes,
has to
yes.
be in that moment of like really sitting with the person
Hmm.
so you can properly educate and guide and plant those necessary seeds.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because the one of the most things that nurses don't, a lot of nurses are not fans of, is when you're dealing with difficult patients or difficult patients' families for whatever reason. And
I
I
would think
love
it's the families. I mean,
it
let's be
usually is.
it's
It
probably not
usually
feeling very
is.
well, right? So you can have a lot of grace for somebody being grumpy because they don't feel good. But the
Yep.
families, I
Yes, you're absolutely right. But I remember, I mean, I worked as a charge nurse for some of that time, but even when I wasn't, like I was the go-to person because I loved it. I loved those kinds of things, the things that people were like, oh, I don't want to have that conversation, or I don't want to go say that thing, or I don't want to open this can of worms. Like I was so comfortable with it. And what I learned from that is literally like 9.5 times out of 10, the person just wanted to be heard. They wanted to be seen. And I would mitigate a
100%.
lot of problems from that. So yeah, it transfers quite well.
Well, think about that even within ourselves. Like, if I don't think you can hear me, I'm just going to say it more or louder or 10 different ways because you're not understanding, right? And it's so frustrating. Even if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you are not recognizing and acknowledging what I'm trying to convey. It's incredible frustration.
Yes,
But you're
yes,
right.
yes.
We just all
Hmm.
want to be understood, even if we're not quite right. Like, this is where I'm coming from. So that is a
Absolutely.
tremendous skill to have. You got a
Hmm.
lot of
It's hard. Many, many years. Yeah, yeah. But I loved it, because I think that's the hard, especially like with AI, and like it's a whole other topic, but like people are kind of like riffing on that. No matter where you are on that, there is a fear for a lot of people of like AI taking over jobs and different things, but it
Mhm.
can never take over that space that a person can hold for someone else,
No, I
So
literally tell it, stop being my cheerleader. Like, oh, you are brilliant and blah, blah. I'm like, no, 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 no. Find the problems in this. Like, I got my girlfriends for cheerleading. Like, I don't
yeah.
know. There are certain things, I don't care how skilled AI gets, it's pattern recognition, but it's not human
Mm,
connection.
I love that differentiation. Yeah.
So I want it to find patterns. I don't need it to be my friend.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's good. Hmm.
And a coach kind of does both, right? Finds those patterns and the things that we're in our head about and can't see because we're like drowning, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And when you're drowning, all you're doing is trying to get some air. The
yeah.
coach is saying, this is the pocket of air to get first.
Yeah, you're spot on. I was having a conversation yesterday. I have this conversation quite often around the difference between therapy and coaching, what coaching actually is. And what I love is that we're having more and more conversations about mental health in general, because it's still a stigma that like something is wrong with you if you need to get help. And I think that we're slowly but surely getting away from that. But what I tell people is, and even me, I have several coaches and I always will, because it's not like this point in life where you just are the know all, be all, end all. Coaches help you see what you can't see. They catch those blind spots. They hold space for you to find your own answers. So it's very different from consultant work, which is also important. It's just different. And it helps you to, that's where the real transformation comes. When someone tells you something, it's like, oh, I didn't know that. That sounds great. But when you pull it from yourself, things that you already know, right, it hits different, it lands, it sticks. And so I was telling someone last night, I like to use this analogy, that it's really difficult to fix a problem with the brain that's actually creating the problem.
Oh, that's good. You need to quote that everywhere because you're right. We have all that wiring that's intended to help us survive.
Exactly.
And some of those survival skills that we learned in childhood or when we were younger, they did help us survive. And we can honor that and respect it and
Mhm.
also tell it to stop. Like, you need to
Yeah.
stop because I'm no longer that little kid. I'm a grown adult and it no longer serves me. Right.
Yes, I love that too. And I always think like, why can you simply explain this? And another piece of coaching is it simply just helps people believe new things, right? Like in order for you to have a different life, you've got to think differently. And a coach is here to help you. Like, okay, I really want to be over here, but I'm over here. How do I get over there? Well, how does that version of you think? How do they operate? What do they believe? What things did they let go of from childhood? And it's just that support and guidance to help someone get where they want to go.
Right. And I also think sometimes there's a misconception about coaching. Like, it's always a red flag for me. This is one of the reasons why you are here and I'm interviewing you. It is a red flag for me when I ask somebody what kind of a life coach they are and they say, oh, just all life. And I'm like, wait a minute. You need, as a life coach, which you have this, you also have to have clarity on where you are best utilized to serve someone, because not all people are good matches,
So good.
right? And
Hmm.
so you've already hit on this indirectly, but like, you have your strengths and challenges and areas where you're growing as well. So you are not like this omnipotent person who can coach literally anybody on the planet. You know
Hmm.
your people that you're like, these are the people I can serve.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes both ways in that, like, and that's why I think we can't have enough coaches, because not only, regardless of what someone chooses to coach on, or whether they want to be a catch-all, their clients are automatically drawn to specific things. And so
Mhm.
I had that problem too, like in the beginning. It's still interesting of like, what is that thing? What is that thing? Or what's, the niche and all of that. But it is really important we get clearer and clearer, even if we're the person you're talking about, probably speaking of general life coach, there's areas within that is like, oh, I'm really good at, like, I'm really good at helping people find the problem. I'm really good at helping people create a solution. And it's a skill to be able to articulate that. But typically coaches will also, they attract their own people, just as like you can have 10 coaches lined up and you can have 10 different people, and they're going to gravitate towards different people of different types of coaches. And even the cadence and the way they coach, the way they talk, their energy, how they come off, like everyone has their own thing. It's such a unique space, like one of the reasons why I really love it.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for somebody who's wanting to hire a coach, because I've had many coaches over the years as well, different
Mhm.
mentors, all of that. And same thing with therapy. I've done a lot of therapy too. Like, I go in with, what do I want from this person?
Mhm.
Because it is not fair as a client to expect you to fix everything. It's my job to fix it. It's my job to articulate what I need or where I'm struggling even, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And to not put you on this pedestal that you're going to unlock all of the doors for me and everything's going to be great, right? Like,
Mhm.
every person that I've worked with has given me little seeds and tools that's helped. And I think that's
Mhm.
important for clients.
Yeah, yes, and also if anyone's listening, like, oh, I'm kind of thinking about hiring a coach. What do I do? To your point, a consultation is really important to me.
Mhm.
I think that if and I don't like to judge how other people operate their business, but at least asking, like, do they offer that? Because that's where they get to answer those questions. You have a coach is really good at what they do, and their skill, they know how to pull out what you're struggling with, because
Mhm.
sometimes it can be difficult. Like, I don't know, I've been dealing with this for 10 years, I can't articulate this or that. But if you get on the call with a coach and they run you through a consultation process, they have a way of helping you get clear on what you want. And I think that's important to say, because many people don't ask for help because they struggle articulating what they need.
Yeah,
And sometimes that can be solved just in that initial conversation.
absolutely. Yeah. And you need to see like if your personalities mesh well and if it's like
Yes.
if it's going to be good conversations. I know even like on
Hmm.
Shark Tank, I love watching Shark Tank. And sometimes even like Mark Cuban, who's a billionaire with a B, will say, I am not the right shark for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? He's had so many businesses, so much success, so many connections, and he's able to say, like, I'm not the right fit for you.
Yeah, that's so
So it's
good.
yeah, you want to do like each other a good service of like making sure, like, are you the right fit?
Hmm.
And maximize, like you also, Regina, you've got only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got the memo, but like, and so
Yep.
you want your time maximized so you can best serve people. And then
Yeah.
same thing for the client, they need somebody who can help them maximize the time together.
Exactly. And many coaches have other referral partners, like I know
Mhm.
coaches who coach differently, or they coach on very specific things. Like, oh, I've told many clients in consultations, I don't think I'm the best one, but I have someone for you. Like, here's the next steps. I'm going to take care of you. And it always works out. Or like, hey, even I've had consultations where, oh, it's very clear they need therapy. Like, what they're looking for
Yeah.
is therapy. And that's not a problem. I have some people that I can connect you with.
Okay, let's hold up right there. When would you suggest, like, I know for me, like trauma, go to therapy. That's probably a good idea. Some EMDR or something, right? So when do you recommend somebody having therapy first? Because I think they
Hmm.
can go together,
Hmm.
but also sometimes first therapy.
Hmm.
When does that make sense?
So I'll first say that if you have a very good therapist and a very good coach, a lot of what they do is the same.
Yeah.
Like, just foundational. It intertwines in a lot of different ways. And what I tell folks is, if the thing that you're wanting help with is all about the past and all about, like, I need to get in there and dig. I was actually on a parenting squad WTHR segment, and she gave a great analogy of this. The Felicia who was interviewing me, so I'm going to use it here. She said that when I was explaining to her, she kind of reflected back to me, and she said it's like when you're packing and you get all your stuff, and like you got your stuff and you're putting it all in and you're getting it all rearranged and you're getting it all ready. That's therapy. And we're like, coaching is like, okay, we're getting ready to get on the plane. And so it's very much like, I need to stay there. We need to spin all the time. We need to unravel. We need to be victim. And I don't say that in a bad way, 'cause I know we have a
No.
negative out of that, but like, you're a victim to that situation that happened, and we need to work through it, make sense of it all, process it, and that. And then coaching is like, yes, totally get it, understand. Not that it doesn't affect you. It's not like it's gone and you forgot about it, but what do I do from here? How do I now move forward in my life, on my goals, in parenting, in relationships, whatever it might be, even though that happened? So they're very similar in that. I mean, there's all different kinds of coaches too. There are actually trauma informed coaches that they
Mhm.
work with people to move forward from trauma. A lot of what I do, my clients bring up the past, and we don't stay there, but it helps them to understand, like, oh, that's why I'm showing up. Like you talked about at the beginning of this episode, that's why I'm showing up, is because that one thing or that one person. I had
Mhm.
for one example, to make it really clear for folks, yesterday I was coaching a client, and her one of her goals is, she's very successful, she's a CEO in her company, she's doing all these amazing things, but she struggles heavily to rest. And so we're coaching on this, and she knows what she wants rest to look like. But what we discovered was, oh, I think my brain offers to me that resting is lazy. Okay. And then we started talking more. Where'd that come from? It came from her dad. Her dad would tell her that when she was young. What are you doing? You need to get up and do something. You're being lazy. And so her just being able to, like, connect that, like, oh, okay, that was my dad's voice.
Mhm.
What do I want mine to be? And be able to reinvent what rest looks like for her, which by the end of our time yesterday was like, oh, rest is actually disruptive. I'm a disruptor of what women can do and what they're allowed to do and those kinds of things. So rest is actually essential, and me doing more and showing what's possible. Those are the kinds of conversations that are had in coaching.
I love that. it is important to acknowledge the root, right? Like, oh, this is where it's coming from. Because I feel like once you know, like, oh, wait, that's my, like you said, that's my dad's voice. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
not true. It may have been true to him, but it's not true to me as an
Yes.
adult.
Yes. And so like therapy would have been, okay, let's spend a lot of time unraveling that and that experience. And like
Hmm.
that's where it's at. Where coaching's like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that, which she had not realized until it came out of her mouth. I'm like,
Hmm.
cool. What do you want to make that mean? How do we move forward? Like there's the difference. So it's not like the past doesn't come up. It's just not where we spend a lot of our time.
Right. No, I think that's really important. And that's a good differentiation between the two because there is a lot of value in both,
Oh yes.
especially because obviously we all come from different situations.
Hmm.
And I like that you hit on that it's not bad to be a victim. Like, that's not a bad thing in the sense of that you have to stay there.
Yeah, and I have many clients actually, because most of my clients have dealt with some kind of traumatic behavior in the past, and they've done therapy, and now they're kind of ready for the next thing. That's typically what our conversations are about on the consultation. But many of them have both. Many of them, they have me, and they have a therapist, which I highly recommend for folks if they still need a little bit of that.
Yeah. So you hit on like you've loved personal development books. I'm like, I love personal development books. What are your top three, like everybody should read in three
Mm.
books?
Oh, this is good. Okay, I should probably know this. Oh my God, there's so many. I will say, because I'm thinking back when I was really getting into this, anything by Bob Proctor. And the reason why I like him, the late Bob Proctor, it's interesting. I found out about him like the day after he passed. I was so mad because I was like, I got to go to one of his seminars. And I'm like, oh,
Oh.
he passed. He was so good. What I loved about him, though, is he was a normal human being that had been through all the things. And he had a very good way of explaining these high and intellectual things. Like he'd bring it down in his books to like, this is what this means. This is very simple. Like his seminars, his YouTubes. I mean, you can't go wrong reading anything by him. One of my favorite books by him was You Were Born Rich. And what I love about that book is it's not really about money. His point is, which he really was a proponent of being rich and making all the money, do all the things, but he grew up poor. He mishandled his money, all the things. But the book really showed us that you were born, every one of us, with everything we needed to be rich, whether it's finances, whether it's your life, whether it's changing your life in whatever kind of way. We already were born with that
Mhm.
worthiness, and it helps to break that down. Another book, depending if someone is, I think this is maybe a business heavy, but at the same time, I love that it was it was exercise focused, and that is by Marie Forleo. Everything is figure outable. And what I love about that book, have you read that? Okay. What I love about that book is, yeah, it was about, some of it was about business, but in general, when you develop, it helps you develop this concept that I can figure anything out. And I think business or personal, if you can believe that, the ways you can go in life are endless
I was
because
just gonna say possibilities are endless. If you
yes,
know that you
yes,
have the solutions.
yes, 100%. And then a third book. What comes to mind? I don't know that it's my favorite book. I'm just gonna say it because I'm thinking about it and I actually have the word. It's a book called Essentialism, and I have it tattooed across my arm. Not because I love the book itself, but because the concept of we have this one life and we can only do so much with it, like you said, which is 24 hours. And the book really helped me to see the concept of essentialism, that to have a successful life, successful business, relationships, you have to be really good at saying no more often,
Mm.
right? And like very clear on the power of your yes, which has helped me to differentiate where am I spending my time, not only physical time, physical space, but like my brain. Where am I spending that?
That's good. I'm gonna have to read that. That'd be good with boundaries.
Oh, yes, boundaries really good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
partner book.
Yeah, I have to go into a fourth because I cannot leave him out. Michael Singer, because I've had clients read it and I've read it in his book, The Untethered Soul, and there's another one. The Untethered Soul, I think is the first one. But if people are ready for it, he can come off a little rash.
Mhm.
His whole point is like people are, and this is true, people are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, and they're suffering from something that happened at age 10. Someone said something to you at 15. And we want to validate that. But his point is like we are so tethered to what our brain is telling us, and we don't understand that our brain is just a machine that just says things, and we get to decide what we believe. So his books help me to differentiate the voices in my head. Like, oh, I have a normal brain it's fear-based. It's gonna this and that. And I also can decide what I want to do with that. And I didn't have, before I read his books, I didn't really have that permission. I didn't know that I had that power. And so I think it's one of the ways it's helped me to, regardless, life is lifing all of the time. I have a very normal life like other people and struggles and things. I can still differentiate what I want to make it mean and how I want to move forward from what I've learned through Michael Singer.
I'm gonna have to look some of these books up that you mentioned because I haven't read them. I do believe though that we've all experienced pain. We've all experienced at least one trauma, one tragedy, just awful things, right? But suffering is a choice.
Oh, so
And
that,
we
that
don't
makes me
have
think about Byron Katie. If you haven't heard of Byron Katie, everyone should read her stuff. She speaks about that, which is also very interesting. You're right.
What's the name
Suffering's a
of her
choice.
book or books?
So, she has I think the one is called The Work. She has several. What I like about Byron Katie, one, she's still alive. There are many of these gurus who are passing on. And so anytime you can get someone live, it's important. She does three weekly Zoom calls to help people break this down. But she has something called The Work. This woman back in her day was an alcoholic. She was all these different things. She ended up checking herself into a woman's rehabilitation center. And just like she was just struggling, depressed, all the things, overeating, everything. And then one day she was in the bathroom, she laid down, she went to sleep, she woke up a completely different person, like almost like this doesn't happen to people. Her family, they had to reteach her how to operate in society. And
Wow.
like, yeah, her kids were like, this is not my mom. And what happened was she had some, what they would call like an elevated event that we all don't, not everyone has, but it helped her really see how much like her coin thing is anytime you are suffering, there's a lie you're believing. And so she
Oh, that's
talks
good.
that we're
Oh, everybody needs to marinate on that one.
yeah. So she has something called the works where it's just 4 questions that you ask. And it's essentially helping you like, oh, he doesn't like me. Whatever you're thinking. Is it true? Can you prove it's true? How do you show up when it's true? Right. And helps you do something called the turnaround. So I really love her work because again, she helps us get into our power. One of her books is I Need Your Love. Is that true? And that book is very interesting on how much we place what we need in life on like other people behaving a certain way or things being a certain way. So I have, as you can see, all kinds. We can like riff on this forever.
I was gonna say, like, this could be just a full day conversation because I'm thinking of other books. I'm like, oh, this is a good one. And two of them that I highly recommend is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
I haven't read that.
It's a great, straightforward, quick read, but it's like, oh, this explains like everything in life.
Mm.
Why some people in their 40s, 50s, 60s are doing better and thriving. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what happened to these people? It didn't happen all of a sudden. It's the daily choices we make.
Ooh, yeah. Write that
Yeah.
down.
And how change actually happened. So that's a really good one. There's also The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. So if you don't like his writing style, the other one, and then Do Hard Things by Steve Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a very long time that I have read a book and highlighted and underlined and bought it for somebody else and recommended it like crazy to people. Like it is
Ooh.
so, it makes so much sense about kind of the neuroscience of why it's important to do hard things, how we are so capable, and how to keep going. So those are
Ooh.
my two, like everybody needs to read them.
I'm gonna get those, and I'll make sure I get the hard copy of Do Hard Things since you're talking about highlight and all the things.
Yeah, you're gonna want to like, yeah, the research behind it, the thought
Mhm.
behind it, it's really good. And also he's an athlete.
Mhm.
So I love, I think athletes, there's just a mindset, especially if you're like an endurance athlete,
Yep,
endurance
absolutely.
athletes, swimmers, wrestlers, like there's just kind of a mindset that's tapped into sometimes. And so,
Yes.
and then there's a lot of misconceptions of what
Yes.
mental toughness is. And you already know this. It's not pushing away the feelings. It's not being like a robot.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
I
sometimes
think that I think it's actually the opposite, right? I think that
Mhm.
one of the things one of my mentors told me I never forget is like when you are open, there's not any feeling. If there's not a feeling that you're not willing to feel, then there's nothing you're not willing to do. Because everything we're like afraid to do, we're pushing off, we're procrastinating, we're people pleasing on, whatever that might be. Because on the other side of that, or like to get ourselves to do it, there's anxiety, there's fear, there's worry, there's doubt, there's rejection, embarrassment, whatever. And if you're like, oh, I can feel anything, any emotion, I allow them in my body, then there's nothing you won't be willing to go for.
Absolutely. Like I know in yoga, I'm not like a true yogi, but like in yoga, it is like feel it, acknowledge it, release it.
Hmm.
Instead of just like what a lot of people do, like just shove it down in there, pretend like it
Yes.
doesn't exist, and just like it's bottled up. It's no good. We cannot
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, that's
No
called,
good.
but we call it buffering in coaching. Unfortunately, we're in a day and age now where it's so easy to buffer. I mean, a touch of a finger, you can have anything. You can have any kind of entertainment. You can have any kind of food, experience, social media. Like it's so easy now to avoid our emotions.
Oh, instant gratification is, you're right, at our fingertips, and it's
Hmm.
destroying people.
Yeah, it's really sad. Yeah, absolutely. That's why conversations like these are the best. Like for
I
people
know.
just to be like, and then I love like we still want that. They talk about podcasts, YouTubes, all that. They're still highly watched. And like there's billions of people that are watching this. And so,
Yeah.
these kinds of things. So like I know that it's still very important.
Yes, we haven't, like, we're not so far gone yet. Like, there's
Mm-mm.
hope. We gotta keep fighting for that hope. Now,
100%.
I know one of the things you talk about is the fishbowl mindset. What does that mean?
Yeah. I did not make this up. It was given to me or one of my coaches over the years. I can't remember who, or I would tag them, but essentially it's more of the same of that you can't fix a problem with the brain that created it. And so we're all in the ocean, metaphorically. And we all have a inside of a fishbowl in the ocean. And so we're all seeing and experiencing, have access mentally, physically, whatever, to the same things, but we don't. We're always inside of a fishbowl, and that is of our own beliefs, our own experiences,
Mm.
our own preferences, our own rights and wrongs, our own judgments. And so when we are looking outside of this fishbowl, we think what we're seeing is actually kind of what do they call, like the steam mirror, the black mirroring of what's
Yeah.
really going on. And I think that's the power of having a coach. I think that's the most important thing of coaching. Why would people, when we think about the most successful people or people who have pushed themselves to do things beyond what they thought were capable, they had someone, whether that person
Yeah.
called themselves a coach or not, helping them to see outside of that fishbowl, to see what's possible, helping them to chip away the different thoughts they have that's been holding them back, those mindset blocks and different things like that. So really, when I remember this, it helps me to see what's possible. Because right now, we always have goals that we're working on. And like many of those seem very impossible. And when I have someone in my corner, I have group coaching, my one-on-one coach, different spaces, I'm always reminded like, oh no, this is just in my fishbowl. And this is what it looks like outside of that. And it helps me to see what's possible and push myself beyond those means.
I love that. And you're right. Like, I'm sure everybody right now, when you said we've all had somebody in our life,
Mm-hmm.
I would hope everybody thought of at least one person that they're like, oh, yeah, she's right. This
Mm-hmm.
person helped me believe in me or get to the next step or whatever.
Yes.
Difference is with a trained coach like yourself, you will hopefully be able to help people get there faster.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely. I think,
Bigger,
yeah,
better, faster. That's the goal.
absolutely. I think while you were talking, I was thinking about Diana. Is it Diane Nyad? Have you seen that documentary?
I love Naiad. Oh my gosh.
So freaking good. And she's still alive. Like I'm always like loving, like I would love to hear her speak live, but she talks about that. Like what would she swim from like Florida to Cuba or something in like the most treacherous waters
Have
ever?
you seen the movie?
Yes, that's how I first learned about her. It is so good. But she talked about that in interviews and things that I think it was her best friend who wasn't necessarily a coach, but her team was the only reason she was able to do that.
100.
Right.
Yeah.
Only reason. And so I just think it's really important. And we have these stigmas because we were raised and learned, especially women, we should handle all, we should be it all. Something's wrong if we need help. Something we don't want to be a burden. We shouldn't ask for help. And those things are really what's tearing women apart. And it's like,
It is.
actually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is because we used to have we used to have tribes and
Mm-hmm.
communities. We used to go, back in the day, people would go to the river and do their laundry together as a community of women. And
Mm-hmm.
now this is our community. I'm gonna have to edit that out. It's like girl spaces.
Yeah, okay, I love that. This is our community holding the. So funny.
It's my kids. I don't like to post them publicly.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. But you're right. Like
but it's
it's
true. Like
so interesting. It
it's
is
so
so interesting.
community.
Yeah, and asking for help, like it has been so powerful when clients learn to do that, when women learn, like, oh, and I actually think this is a superpower. I think, how do you do all the things? because I don't do other things.
because I
Because
don't.
I get help with other things.
Yeah, and it's funny because there are women that they do look so put together, polished all the time. Everything just seems to just be perfection.
Hmm.
And what you learn as you get to know those women, it's like, oh no, they're messy too. Like, or they have extra help, or they can afford extra help, or whatever it is. That,
Hmm.
like, don't let the illusion of somebody's perfection make you think that you aren't worthy and you aren't enough.
Yes, it's so important. It is so important, especially with social media, because most people only post their best stuff. Like that's there. No one's like, oh my God, my life sucks because this and that. I mean, every now and again you might see that, but that
It is
social
too
media is so,
extreme, right? There's some
yeah.
people who are like, look how horrible this is. I'm trying to be relatable. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. I think it's
Yes.
$1
Yes, and there's this balance of like, and I think
Yeah.
for me, it's really important for women to see that, which is why I tried to be as authentic as possible and within reason. I have like
Mhm.
things that I'm going on now that I haven't shared publicly because it's protecting the privacy of other people in my life. Because I also am working through it. So anytime I'm sharing things, I've worked through it, or this is how I'm working through it. Let me share with you, and I
Like
think it's
what you're
really important.
learning, it's valuable. It's not
Yes.
just
Yes.
clickbait.
Yes, right. And also showing people like, oh, this person can have a career, love it, decide to do something else, love that too, be a mom, homeschool, like all the things, and also struggle and make like that's okay. I think like the first thing I like to do with people is normalize their experience. Like there's nothing wrong with you. It's okay. And also, where do we want to go from here?
It's like, congratulations, you're a human. You are a human
Yes.
who is beautifully flawed.
That's what I love to talk
And
about perfectionism too. Like people don't call themselves that, but in so many ways we have those tendencies. And we've been taught that, like, get it, I mean, from school, from different places, like, get it right. We celebrate when people are perfect. We celebrate, when people win at something. People aren't like celebrating failures. We learned that was a bad thing, stay away from it. And in life, that actually is a total opposite to have a successful life.
absolutely. Okay, Regina, I could talk to you all day.
Me too.
I love our conversations.
So good.
So like I said, we could keep going, but we do need to wrap it up. So can you share? I know that you have some like stuff you're going to give away and all of
Mhm.
that. Can you share with
Yeah.
me?
Yes, so I do something every now and again. It's not something I do public facing, but I love it and it's very valuable for my clients and people who come in. It's called a life assessment. And I would love to, just because I love you and I love what you're doing, like offer that to anyone who heard it on this podcast and who's listened. And a life assessment is where I literally take you through every part of your life and we assess it. Where are you at right now? And where do you want to be? Which I think is really important because then I help you decide, like, okay, how will I close that gap? And it's very valuable to see, especially for those who are like, oh my gosh, I need help in all the areas. I don't know. Or you
Yeah,
struggle with, okay, there's 20 things I would need to work on, but I know I can't do all 20 at the same time. Like that assessment is for us to see and help you see what's really important. And a lot of times, a lot of them go together. And so it gives a lot of value and awareness as to what's going on. And then you also create a plan of what you're going to do about it. So I would love to offer that to anyone.
wonderful. So how can people get access to that?
Absolutely. I'm very simple. You can email me at info@reginasloancoaching.com. Just let me know you listen to our episode and you would like to schedule that, and I'll take it from there. Or you can DM me on any platform that I'm on. I'm on LinkedIn at Regina Sloan. I'm on Instagram at Your Mindset Nurse, and then Regina Sloan on Facebook.
Perfect. All that stuff will be in the show notes, of course, so people can get connected with you. I think you're the first coach that I have had on this podcast because I'm very selective about coaching because it's
Wow.
a science and it's an art. And I think that you know how to do both. And I really
Mm,
appreciate you being here and
mm.
sharing all these great tips with everyone today.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I didn't know that. So it's truly honor. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Diary of a Dreamer. I hope you found the stories and tips shared today to be a source of motivation and strength. Remember, every challenge you face is a chance to grow and move closer to your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with anyone who could use a boost of encouragement. Please check out my website, tashaeisinger.com.